It's fine. Good evening, everyone. So happy to be here with Dr. Lauren Powell, the Culinary Doctor. I don't know that many of you need an introduction to Dr. Lauren. It's so good to see you.
Good to see you.
Can I tell you, this rock star is doing all the things that she wrote down years ago. And this is why she wants to come and talk to you today, because we do not want anyone to think that it's outside of their reach. If it's in your heart, if it's on your mind, if it's on the table, then we should talk about it and at least explore all the things. But we need to get pretty honest. And so I just want to say that today was day one of coaching week with Dr. Tony. We wanted to kickstart your year and give you guys some good vibes and some, accountability around the things you say you want. So Dr. Lauren's probably going to tell you some of the things that you don't want to hear, but it's actually why she's successful. She's willing to dig in. Let me tell you a little bit about her. But at the end of this broadcast, you can ask questions here. We'll be happy to answer them. And at the end of this broadcast, if you're in our event, 6 p.m. tonight, I'm going to be there just to answer questions. So if you have more questions for us, I will be available at 6 p.m. So make sure you come live inside of our group, drtonymdvip.com. Let me put that up here just in case somebody needs it. You never know. mdvip.com. Just in case you might need it. All right, I'll tell you a little bit about Dr. Lauren Powell. She is a long-standing friend and client. She came to me years and years ago, and this was before she was a culinary doctor, and it was before she was a board-certified family medicine physician, too. She was in training, and she's a really smart cookie. She looked around, she saw some things she didn't like about the box that is medicine, and she said, I don't know about that. But she did have a passion in her heart for nutrition, for health. And Papa Davis, her father, I know I'm like family, right? But her father, he had a health scare that really made her decide that that was going to be her passion, her mission, and the foundation for the many things that she wants to do. Her goal is to end generational patterns of adverse health outcomes in the African American community. And she's going to empower you through her healthy cooking. In our show notes, you will see ways to follow her on Instagram. You will be able to follow her and join her Cooking Queens if you would like to, because I will tell you, she knows what she's doing. And it's a lot of fun to be around her and learn from her, because she is coming from a place of it's going to still taste good just because it's healthy. Don't think it won't. Welcome, Dr. Lauren. What do you think? Welcome. Anything I missed?
Thank you for having me. It feels like a kind of like a full circle type moment. And happy birthday. And what a way to share your birthday than by serving others. But that's just how you roll. So I'm not even surprised that that's how we're spending your birthday. But thank you.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so excited to be here with you. I just want to remind people that when you came to me, I remember, I'll never forget it. It was a poignant moment, a crossroads in my life. And that's what you're going to learn about our community, right? My community of Sort of Excellence Coaching is full of women who, if I were to just put you all in a room, you would just be like making fast friends. And some people already are friends. So what's best about it is that it prevents a lot of problems, because you have a lot of people who are very open and capable, and you're going to find that out about Dr. Lauren. I also wanted to remind you that we've been there. You may not see people's dark days, but we have been there. So we don't want you to feel embarrassed or stressed about some of the things that you're going through. Now, I want to ask Dr. Lauren, is there anything at the top of your head that you absolutely want the young, in training person, that medical professional, especially that graduate student who is struggling, is there anything you want them to know? Because I find that they're coming to me so late and I want to help a little earlier.
Yeah, I think as a young professional, we just have to make sure that we're looking at the big picture of our lives, because sometimes we get so narrowed in on like career and training and then getting out of training and finding that job, and that stuff is going really well. And then sometimes we neglect these other areas of our life. So really think big picture, like what do I want my life to look, how do I want it to feel? I think is like super, super critical. And I think that's why I was so unsettled coming out of residency, because I had this like big picture, but I didn't know the little pieces. But I just was like, if this is it, this ain't it. It just can't be it. Like this just, this kind of going in a circle of just doing the same thing day after day. It just has to be has to be more to it than this.
Lauren was so smart when she came to me. One thing I like about her is that she's able to articulate what she is feeling. She's like, look, I don't know those pieces, but I can tell you what I don't want. She was so clear. She said to me, first of all, can you just mentor me? She sent me her CV and I saw that thing and I turned those pages and I was like, this lady's a powerhouse. I remember things like, I really didn't look back at it. I remember you had like radio shows, you were out there in the media, you were already doing the thing as a resident. I said, this lady is on it. But you were like, no, you don't understand. That's nice. That's great. How do I avoid these pitfalls over here? Because my attendings it's scary what I'm seeing. And you said, I don't want to be in the box. Talk to me about the box that you did not want to be in.
Just this standard, I think residency, and I've even told my attendings this, residency is like not the real world. It's just not the real world. I had so much fun in residency. I had wonderful co-residents. You worked as a team. You were doing different stuff every day. You were at conference, like it was learning all the time. But the real world of medicine is just not that way. It's more isolating. It's you go to work, you see patients, and then you go home. And then that's kind of it. There is no like, oh, I'm doing this one day and the next month I'm doing this. There's no, it's just not already set up for you. Research opportunities and those like furthering your learning, those things aren't set up for you. Not that you can't do it, but it's just not a part of your job. I mean, like even my first week of work, I asked if I could teach classes on nutrition to some of the diabetics. And they were like, no, we just want you to see patients. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, but I'm like saying the same thing to them. It'd be fun if you just do a class. And so I just was like, I don't want to be in this box of like, but then other docs are doing it, So I'm like, why am I the only one that feels like this is weird or like kind of boring that we're just doing the same thing every day? And I was just like, I don't want that. Like, I don't know what the other opportunities or options there are, but I know I just don't want to like be doing the same thing every day and having that feeling like that, not completely fulfilled and excited every day. Not that I didn't like medicine, but I don't like doing the exact same thing every single day. And I feel like I'm just using my other gifts and talents and other parts of my brain and growing and learning. And yeah.
All the things we signed up for when we decided to be in school for lifelong learning forever. Yeah, like that. we thought we were signing up for that. And the training makes you feel like, oh, but then when you look beyond the training, you see those hours, those protective hours go away.
Yeah.
The the protected time to learn and teach and go out and do things that are impactful in the community, it goes away. Isn't that what I'm hearing you say? All the things that made you feel good in your training. You were chief resident. You were excited. Anybody here, please make sure you comment if you're watching the replay. Comment and let us know where you're watching from. Comment if you know that you would like more autonomy and flexibility. Just start with that. We don't always know what we do want, but we know we need more variety, more fun, more stimulation. Right? You're somebody who loves to learn and grow and share that with people. The only way to empower patients is to train them, to teach them how to eat and teach them wellness. It's one thing I heard you say was underneath this. Wellness was not the focus of what you were going to be doing day in and day out if you didn't make a change.
Yeah.
It was, you see what I'm saying? Like constantly just medicating or keeping things status quo for patients wasn't really your mission. Your mission is to empower them to have better health and prevent disease.
Yes.
Isn't that what doctors thought they were doing?
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
A little bit. It just, in practicality, it's just not what's done, right? It's just not. It's not what we're compensated for. It's not what's going to, that's just not the real practice of medicine. Yeah.
One of the reasons I became a coach is because I learned the business of medicine before I became a physician. So I came in eyes wide open and said, the only reason I'm doing this is so that I can have my own practice and help people my own way and set up something for myself and maybe do concierge medicine and just kind of set up in the community that I want to be in, right? Hi, Dr. Tony. She's student Dr. Tony. I know her down in Nashville. How are you? Make sure you let us know if you're catching the replay and if you have any questions for Dr. Lauren, because we can ask her and she can circle back later on. I can get you that answer. But truth be told, you don't have to know everything. You said that so clearly, but you don't have to know everything, but you need to have a clear picture of what's not working so that we can build you something new. So when you came to me, you weren't sure what that process looked like, but you were pretty clear that even after you get board certified and you have more autonomy, it's still not going to be enough for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things I help people do is career transitions. What would you say to somebody who is thinking, I'll just wait. I'll sit back and see what happens and try to fit into this cookie cutter situation? What do you say to these people who they don't know what to do, so they don't do anything?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's how you sit and look up and 20 years have passed and nothing has changed. You end up doing the same thing. Yeah, I remember somebody telling me, one of the docs telling me in my office, like, wait till retirement to do other stuff. And I was like, when do you retire? And she was like, around 60. Wait till 60? I was like, you want me to wait till I'm 60 to start doing other stuff? I could have gone to medical school again. I could have like gone and like gotten a whole new career. And so, yeah, I just feel like it's your decision. And if you decide to do nothing, you can't expect anything to change. And like, you're the boss of your life. And so if you want something different, you have to do something different. And no one around you may be doing anything different, but that doesn't mean that it's okay for you to want, that it's not okay for you to want different.
And I will say that you and I are probably very unique in various settings we've been in, right? You're not looking around and seeing a whole lot of you, so it's a little bit scary. Talk to me about the people who are isolating because, you know, I'll give you an example. I'm an extrovert. And so people think, oh, she's going to try to make me be like her. If you're outgoing and don't mind meeting people and you like being around people, you're energetic like me, they are kind of like, whoa, I'm an introvert. I kind of am okay by myself. So introverts sometimes will ask me, I don't know, like, are you expecting me to be like you? No, but we are saying that in order to build something, you're going to have to do something different than what you've been doing. What would you say to those people who their personality might not be like yours, but we still have to nudge to get you over to the things you want?
Yeah, you still have to, you're the only one that can speak for you. I think that no matter introvert or extrovert, you still need a community. Still need to be
Yeah.
around people that you can share your vision with, that support you, that encourage you, that give you advice. I think it's always great to have people ahead of you. I think I've been so blessed to have so many mentors that are like further ahead of me. And then I have friends and colleagues who we're at the same spot and we're bouncing each other off, bouncing ideas and things off of each other. And then of course it's good to mentor people behind us to,
Mhm.
who are where you were 5 years ago. I think it's important to have that full circle community because we're not meant to do this thing alone. And I think it's already hard. So I don't think adding that other element of alone is good for any of us.
You said that right. We all need each other, but I also feel like we should crowdsource information. Google is great. It's a great start, but now we have to put some of that into action and plant seeds with people. Business is done with people. A lot
Yeah.
of people want what I have to be honest here. You guys, you may not know how long I've known Dr. Lauren Powell, but 2017 was the beginning, and years go by pretty quickly, right? But look what you've built for yourself. Share with them a little bit, and please, please mention that you also have been helping mentor the next generation.
So when I met Dr. Supreme Court, so I was in my last year of residency.
Mhm.
So I transitioned and I signed my first job contract in Atlanta, Georgia. I worked for about 3.5 years. And then I resigned from that position just because I was ready to have a little bit more flexibility. I really, really wanted to work part-time. I was fine where I was at as long as I could do it part-time, but um, I had asked for like 3 years and they were like, no. So I ended up
Mhm.
doing, but still kind of kept a contract with them. So I actually still work for them in a contractor kind of capacity. But I've been doing locums, which has been great in terms of giving me the flexibility to travel and, make extra money and work a schedule that's kind of feasible for me and my husband. And so now I'm having a baby, I'm pregnant, and I'm actually due this week. I'm being induced this week.
You see
So
this girl? Can we pause a moment? You
he's
don't
like,
understand.
what
Look
is
at
this?
show them the bump, girlfriend. Oh my gosh, look at this
I
beautiful
showed
bump. I need to get.
it.
It's a blessing. But when she and I met, she wasn't out of training. She was married, thank goodness, to a beautiful KP. Her husband Carl, he's amazing. They were in Florida. They had to relocate. We had to make a plan, and it's a whole intricate plan. There's lots of details, lots of things we had to do to create this phase one, phase two, and let's just say you're kind of in phase three because phase one was just work for work, but let's do 100 different things to prepare for something 5 years down the road. And here you are. And motherhood was on the list.
It was on the list.
It was on the list. And a lot of us, um, we get so caught up in the day to day that we look up, and those 3 to 5 years have already passed with that first employer. And then you come to me, it happens all the time, completely over it, frustrated, angry, resentful, depressed, anxious. I need out now. And I'm like, okay, I know I need people to see this live stream and understand that it was a process and we actually built all of it way back in 2017 and phase one, phase two. She's just very methodical and patient. Here we are.
Yeah. And so now I'm telling Dr. Tony earlier, I'm kind of at this space where, we're having a baby soon and
Yeah.
I'm not sure yet what I want my work life to look like as a new mom because I've never been a mom before. So I'm just being open. I've had a couple of job offers and opportunities, but I'm just kind of not saying yes to anything at this point because I just don't know yet. And I won't know until I feel like the baby comes and I kind of settle down. And even then, I may not know yet for months after, but I'm just giving myself permission to just be okay with not knowing and be okay with kind of going with the flow. And husband and I financially prepared for this. So I'm just very thankful to be here.
We were talking behind the scenes. I mean, we just adore each other. If we're in the same city, we get together. We have at least have a meal or something. We got to get a hug in there, right? And so, look, I'm giving you your congratulations, Dr. Felicia, Dr. Crystal. Everybody's like, congrats! Oh my gosh, she's having a baby. And only rock stars like Lauren will schedule an appointment like this when you're supposed to have a baby like 2 minutes from now. Only Lauren would do that on my birthday. God bless her, right? Um,
I was like, I
but
gotta keep the baby in. I gotta keep the baby in. I have Dr. Tony sing on Sunday. I spoke at something yesterday. I was like, I just gotta stay pregnant for the season.
keep the baby in. So she's always like this. I just want you to know from day one, like she came out, I talked to her mom, yet she's totally always been this way. So God bless. she's an ambitious woman and she gets what she wants, right? But what if like really know you don't want to be in the rat race? Private practice, how do you plan for it? Dude, everybody who's worked with me is gonna say it's a whole situationship. But go ahead, you tell them. What do you do if you know you don't want to be in the box?
I mean, you got to have a plan. You have to have a plan. So, I mean, I think it's hard. I think it's good to work with someone like Dr. Tony. So I think it's hard to figure out that stuff. I couldn't figure it out on my own. I mean, and I think maybe it's possible that you can figure it out on your own. It might probably take you a little bit longer, but
Yeah.
yeah, you got to work with someone and kind of come up with a plan. Because so many times, I mean, I worked with Dr. Tony, I worked with Dr. Bonnie a whole bunch. I tried to quit, I tried to quit my job so many times, and Dr. Bonnie would be like, "Well, let's just wait, and not just yet." And I'm like, ah. So, like, and I'm so glad I waited and I listened because, again, you just don't know what you don't know. Um, so I think, timing and just having a plan makes things just run smoothly. You're not dealing with like being in a situation where like you're panicked or you're like, oh shoot, money is a problem, or oh shoot, loans, or like something is a problem and now you're having to like jump back into something that maybe you're not happy with just to kind of save yourself. So
You said a mouthful. I'm going to go backtrack just a smidge because Dr. Bonnie Simpson Mason was a mentor of mine, and then she and I both became executive coaches. And she focused mainly on the contracts and making sure that women. So she has a beautiful book that I recommend over and over again. So hey, if you guys don't have this book, plug for Dr. Bonnie. She's been on my platform about this book. But the Power Moves book, The Doctor's
yeah,
Guide to Contracts and Negotiations, it actually helps you see this sucker's 300 plus pages, okay?
yeah,
It
she's
helps you
quite good.
see what that plan might look like, and you'll start to get palpitation. You see what I'm saying? Like it takes a lot to, you have to know a lot. Then we have to pick out of those things what works for you. So having it's more than a notion to get it right. And I used to negotiate contracts and everything in there. I read that, I speed dated that book over the weekend. Um, because I already knew, you know what I mean? I know it, but then I like seeing it, I was like, yep, yep, yep. It was just like, everybody needs to know this, but no one's going to tell you. And you said something else that I will say is important that we need to bring up again. Here's why you have to ask for help. Okay. If you don't prepare a certain way, when you're fed up, you will not have what you need to segue to the new.
Mm.
So we were employing Lauren, and she was so like antsy because her personality is like, I want to go, I want to go. We're coming from all of us who know her, who have mentored her ever. We're all like, it's in your best interest to hang in there and stick to the plan.
Yeah.
I mean, we know what happens when you pull out too soon, too early, contracts, it's a lot. Even just once you own the brand, getting positioned to be owning your intellectual property, there's a million things that we can teach. But it's better if we do it in advance than to extract you from a painful contract or a painful place. Now, everybody wants to be a brand. Dr. Lauren, she is a brand. Dr. Lauren is a brand, the culinary doctor, God bless. She's got that part of her life where she speaks and she teaches and she's on the media. You probably seen her on Sister Circle and Essence, but she's in that world where she's the speaker and the coach and the teacher in that way. And then there's the physician. Lots of planning in order to make that work.
Yeah.
What would you say to the people who I get messages all the time about people who want to do that? You're an inspiration. They want to, they're like, how can I do? Let's see if there's anybody in the comments. Oh, try and fail. How did you look at that? Try and fail. We don't want to fail. We're here. I'm here. She's here giving her time graciously to you because we don't want to see that happen. And we are driven, but that might mean we go too fast. So we have to surround ourselves with people who buffer us and say, here's the 100 reasons we don't rush the plan. How did you bring your husband along on your master plan? How did you two mesh your plans together into a family plan? That's a fair question because I know that was phase one, phase two, and phase three.
I'm fortunate enough that I'm married to a music producer who's an entrepreneur. And so he's already an outside of the box thinker anyway. I mean, when we left Florida and moved to Atlanta, our agreement was that he was going to go 100% into his music, into his passion. Since my income had significantly, increased, that was our
Yes.
plan. So for him, he always makes things so much simpler. Even when I wanted to work with Dr. Tony, I was like, I've never spent this much money before in my life. Like, do you think I should do it? And the only forward was because of him. And he said, Lauren, I don't even know if I ever told you this story, but he
You
was like,
did.
Lauren, sometimes I invest and I put all this money into making a beat. I'll pay a pianist, I'll play a violinist, and I'll pay all these contractors to create this music, and I may not sell that beat for 5 years. He's like, so sometimes you put money into something, and you may not reap the benefit until later, but you put that money and you invest it in yourself. And so my husband has always encouraged me. He's someone who always goes along with the plan. And as a guy, he just makes things so simple. You
He does.
know, he'll be like, you don't have to do it. Why are you acting like you have to take this job? You don't have to. Who said you have to? You know, and then I'm like, yeah, you're right. I guess I don't have to. So he's just been a really great supporter, and we're both open with each other and, discuss our plans. And I think I'm just in a unique position because he's not that like, he's not another doctor who's kind of, how we are. I think it would have been harder to have me with another me, but me with him who's like this creative and kind of like, yeah, let's try it. Or yeah, he's not afraid to fail because he's failed before and knows that it's okay.
Anybody that knows Lauren knows that she is a reason to invest. Like if you put Dr. Lauren stock out, I'll buy some. Like it's a winning bet. Investing in yourself. Actually, I think it's a Warren Buffett quote that investing in yourself is how you beat inflation.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, because you're exponentially going to increase your income, your rate, your ability to earn by investing in your skill set. What you're really saying to people, I'm trying to be the interpreter because I have all kinds of clients, right? These are skills that no one taught you in school because they want to control your future and keep you in a box. That's corporate life, period. If you're that talented, they would love for you to stay there forever so they can make 10x on every dime you make. Okay? They're billing, put a zero behind your salary. That's what they're billing for you if you're in the physical medicine world. You're taking care of patients. That's what it is. So they would love to keep you in that box because it's lucrative for them. Anything about getting out of it. So there's it's important for you to invest in yourself. It's important for you to be honest, but it's important for you to understand that your mentors live in the box. And that's what Lauren recognized. She's like, oh, the people I'm looking at, this is normal, but that's not what I want to do. So she started seeking people outside of that world who had stepped across. The second thing I want to say, look, preparation means opportunity, then boom. She prepared. She did not wait until things got more uncomfortable. She said, I want to do that career projection thingy. You remember you told me that? Yeah, I need that. Because she didn't have a clear picture in her head. Anybody who's done a career projection with me, type career projection in the comments because y'all know what I'm talking about. When we zoom out and say, here's what I really want, here's who I really am, here's what's really in my heart, here's what I was put on the earth to do, it's scary. It feels heavy, like at first, because you don't know how to do it. But preparation is at least being able to articulate what that is so we can build it. When you
Yeah.
saw your career projection years ago, you probably do you remember that?
I remember now that you're talking about it.
Do you remember how you felt?
Yeah.
Sure, tell them.
It's a little bit overwhelming, because you see these things and you're like, but that doesn't look like what life looks like right now. And you want to know why and how. And, we want to know like every single step and when and how long and all that things, all the things.
All the things. Dr. Lauren's brain moves a million miles a minute if you didn't know she's a Ferrari. But yeah, you need to hear from somebody who's done it. You need to hear from somebody who you admire. I admire my clients. I think they're all very brilliant people. And they're saying kudos for having an amazing, supportive husband. I remember him sitting through a medical conference with us, and I was like, God bless him, because
Yeah,
it was all like stuff he did not need to know, but he was there for the cause. Remember that in Chicago?
I remember. He was like, do I have to keep staying here? Do you want me to
Do I
continue to
really
stay?
have to say that? But I just thought passively, since he's so smart. Look, Dr. Felicia said, career projection, mine is still up in my blue poster board. Everything I put on there and more in 2018 came to fruition. It's so crazy how when you get the GPS, I call it the GPS, like behind the scenes, when you know where to go, it doesn't take as long to get there because you know what you're supposed to be doing. If you get off track, it's on you. GPS tells you how long it takes to get there without traffic. If you wait until there's traffic, if you wait until you're exhausted, burned out, and stressed, it takes longer. That's just the fact. But it's still what's in your heart. You should follow that, right? Yeah, Dr. Felicia happens to be a dope psychiatrist, so she's totally on board with everything I teach. She's like, tell them. But I'm so proud of you. Let's double back a little bit because I think this comes up a lot. And I actually did a survey. I did a survey of the community, my Dr. Tony world, my ecosystem of people who are my newsletter and all that. And I asked some questions, and this one is a pain point. How did you guys pull it off as far as being a couple? I think what y'all don't realize is that she was really self-aware, and she really has a good intuition, and she's got a good faith. She's got a good, sense of who she is. And one thing that happens when we're not honest with ourselves, because today, day one was all about assessing. When we're not honest with ourselves and clear with ourselves, then we attract all the wrong things, take the job that we shouldn't be in, and all that good stuff. So kudos to listening to your gut. They have an awesome love story. You met in like elementary school.
Yes, we met in elementary school, and then
No, for real,
reconnected
y'all.
on Facebook in med school. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like sometimes you connect, sometimes it works, but sometimes we have to listen to our intuition. And her husband was like, I believe in you. I think you should do it because I would have to invest in myself. I think you should too. But I think it's important that we tell women, trust yourself. You're smart, you're capable, you're on point. It's okay to follow your heart. It's okay to follow. There's no proof. Well, faith is a good thing. Take the first step, right? Even if you can't see the whole staircase, it is MLK weekend. That's an MLK quote, right? Take the first step, even if you can't see the whole staircase. What
Yeah, we
happens
have
when you don't?
to.
What happens when you don't? Think about some of your colleagues back in the day. Believe me, there's so many of them, right? Who stayed in the box, but they told you they didn't want to be there, and they tell you how much they admire you. How are they doing? How are they feeling?
That's rough. That's how you look up and you realize that you've been doing the same thing and the things that you didn't want to do for all these years. So you have to just listen to that voice. And sometimes it's scary what that voice is telling you to do, and you're trying to make sense of it. But I think as women, we just kind of have to trust it. And sometimes we get the answers bit by bit by bit.
Yeah.
We can look back and see how that all made sense then.
You're good at it, and I know you don't. Even if you're second guessing it, you're really really good at asking the people who know you and support your vision and your goals. You know who to ask to get that nudge when it's like, I'm not 100%, is it okay to go forward? You always know where to go to get
Yeah.
your support. And I think support, making decisions based on faith and abundance and ability versus the scarcity, like what could go wrong, is kind of the message today too.
Yeah. I believe that what's for me is for me and it's not going to pass me by. And so even, I was saying that as a pregnant person, I've gotten several job offers, but I've just had to say, I don't know or no. And, I said yes to one and had to go back and say, I'm sorry, but I think it's no. I think I have to wait because I just feel weird inside. And I'm okay with that. And I don't
Yeah.
worry that I'll change my mind and now that opportunity won't be there. If it was for me, it'll still be there for me. And if not, then it wasn't for me. And so I think, if as professionals, there's always going to be opportunities there. And I don't think we have to worry about not having one or not having things to do to make money. So, yeah.
Well, I know you're really a Speedy Gonzalez. You like to get where you're going and you like it to be efficient and clear and you want all the steps. I like working with people like that because as much as it can be a little nerve-wracking and anxiety provoking, it's actually really good to have someone who's like, what do I need to do? I'm motivated. I'm ready. What do you say to somebody about, choosing coaches or coaching relationships? You've had more than one or two coaches at this point. What would you say?
Uh, I mean, I think you should have a coach that, there's different coaches for different things. So I think being clear on what do I need coaching in. I was at a session earlier today and they were talking about coaches, and some coaches, people go to their coach looking for mental health. Like they're not your mental health person. They're your coach for this specific thing. So I think being clear on what it is that you need coaching in. Do I need coaching in my career? Is it that
Yeah.
I need coaching in making a change? Is it coaching for my relationship? Is it coaching for, a business? I think it's just clear. You need to be clear with yourself in terms of what you need coaching in. and maybe it's multiple things, and then, making sure that that person can help you in all those things. And they may say, hey, I can help you with this other stuff is out of my wheelhouse. And I think, you need someone that's going to be honest with you. I think you need someone that you feel like you can be honest with, because if you can't be honest, then you're not going to be able to like move forward. So you're not going to make real change. And so if you feel like it's not someone that you can be honest with or open with, then they may not be the right fit for you. And I think it's whatever you want to, part of the reason I chose Dr. Tony is I saw she was a doctor that did other things besides being a doctor. And that was the first person I met like that. So I thought, well, she's doing other stuff and she's a doctor. So maybe she knows how I can do other stuff and be a doctor. So I think having a coach that's doing what you want, or like living what it is that you desire, is important too. You can't have somebody lead you somewhere that, they may have never gone before.
All of that is 100% true. And it's exactly how I found some of my coaches. I was seeing the product either in the client or in themselves. And I said, well, I can at least start here as a starting point, and they can direct me in the right direction, which is what you did. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. I think underneath it all, one of the things that I teach, it became my specialty really, is martyr mindset. And a lot of people don't understand that. Especially in the giving profession and the caring profession with women and at the helm, we are always taking care of other people, and sometimes it's to our detriment. And so my mindset coaching was really to address some of the things we do. We don't have a time mastery problem. We're having trouble because we're overcommitted and overextended, and this isn't even the vision we had for our life. Talk to me a little bit about, what coaching did for you to kind of help you keep it all straight, keep going in the right direction and not veer off.
Yeah, I mean, I think you just kind of showed me what was possible. Like if I'm like all like this, you kind of help me make it like straight, and that's what you need when you don't know what it is that you want, but you want something different. You need someone to kind of help take all of your like crazy randomness, which is what I had, and like make it into this clean, tangible, this is what we do now, this is what we do next, like tied up in a bow thing so that you can execute it. And like, I'm a type of person, if you tell me what to do, I'll do it. Like I believe and I'll stick to the plan. Sometimes I just don't know what to do. I know how I want to feel, I know this, but I don't know what to do, like in tangible steps. And so I think you made things very tangible for me, which is, for my personality, what I really need from a coach is like, do this. I don't need this abstracty, like, no, you're going to do this. We're going to stay here for this many years. You're going to, try to save this amount of, making it just very concrete.
That's 100% it. Many people come to me with ethereal ideas and feelings and thoughts, and you actually have a lot of talents. Most of my clients are multi-talented, and they actually have skills deep buried inside, and all that training and corporatization takes the focus away from those things that are innate to you as an individual. It's my job to help you uncover them again, dust them off, and put them front and center as what you're uniquely purposed to do on this earth. So you can be a lot of things, but I also help you get it on a timeline, because doing to do it well, you need some guidance sometimes to channel the time, money, resources, and energy into a longitudinal plan. She's good at finishing things ahead of schedule, which is amazing. But we had everything on a timeline, and that wasn't necessarily easy to come up with. But together, my gosh, I mean, I get chills every time I think about what you've been able to pull off, because you did exactly what was there, because you just needed to see it on paper. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. One more thing, because I think it's important. We have a lot of women who are professionals on here, and a lot of them are at different ages and stages. One thing that Dr. Lauren has been sharing recently is that she went through her journey of infertility and trying to address that. She had already decided she wanted to be a mother, and then when it was time to turn that part of the plan on, there were some disruptions. Talk to the young ladies who are thinking about a family, and give them a nudge. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much like to all my patients, if they're basically, you know, over the, at 30 and up, I'm saying that we should just be looking into our fertility.
Mhm.
Both you and your partner. Even if you know you don't want kids right away, like I'm, looking in retrospect, I don't think I would have had kids any sooner because I didn't desire children sooner. I knew I wanted a family, but I was really focused on my career. I was, recently married and we finally were on kind of a similar schedule. And I just wanted to hang out with my husband and go out to fancy dinners and drink alcohol and go on vacation. I just wasn't ready for a family yet. And so I think having the conversation about your fertility and seeing where you stand just kind of takes a lot of the pressure off because then you're not in a situation where it's like you got to do something now, or it's like, or that opportunity may pass you by and you don't want to be in that situation. So yeah, I my husband and I had started talking about having a family about 2.5 years ago, and we tried and it just wasn't really happening. And so I went to see my doctor and got him a workup too. And my workup was pretty normal, like they couldn't really figure out a reason. And so he had some stuff that we had to work on, and then fortunately, we were able to get pregnant through IVF. I did 2 IUIs that failed. Then we did
Mhm.
IVF, and then it worked well for us, and we were super thankful for that. And my IVF doctor was like, "Oh yeah, you're like one of our young patients." And so to be 35 and be considered one of their young patients, I think, um,
Yeah.
yeah, we just need to talk about it earlier. We just need to talk about it. So I see a lot of med students in my clinic, and I'll talk to them like, "You want to
Yeah.
be a surgeon? That means you
Yeah.
may not have kids for a while, which is completely fine. I don't think we should have to delay our careers if we don't want to. But why not just, talk about freezing our eggs or just seeing where we stand to see if we have time? Because maybe it's not, maybe you have time and that's okay. So,
I think you said something very poignant. I just want to circle back, guys. We who too much whom to those who have so much, we have to give back. We have to make sure that we make the next generation more aware, more empowered, more educated, just like we do patients, and I was on the Young Lady Watching platform, which is your nonprofit to help mentor young people, and I told them, I said, these are the things that we want you to hear earlier so that it's part of, we'd rather talk about it than hear about what went wrong and corrections, when later on it's quite expensive, it's quite distressing emotionally, and your responsibilities at work don't stop, so as an infertile woman who has no children at this moment, I will tell you, it's no fun to finally decide today I want to pursue that part and get on your GPS plan and find out that that stuff is not really, really in reach at the way you envisioned it,
mm,
and you didn't know it wasn't going to be this magical experience. It's like finding a man. I wrote an algorithm to get a husband, right? But I would have liked it to be more romantic. But I'm going to do what it takes because the GPS said we need to make some moves. So I'm proud of you. I'm excited for you. Any parting thoughts? Anything about that person who's talking themselves out of taking the leap or getting coaching or getting help, or what would you say to somebody who might be hesitating?
I would say just do it because you don't know what's on the other side of it until you do. You know what's on the side of not because it's where you are right now, but you don't know what's on the other side of doing it. And I think you should be ready for it because if you go into it and you're not fully ready, you're not fully committed. It's going to take work mentally. It's going to take work, like literally work and time to get the most out of it. You want to just make sure you're fully present to it so that you can do what it needs and give it what it needs and give it the time and the energy and the space. I gave my coaching, our time together, very intentional time and space. I blocked that time off. I was just very serious about it, so um but just do it. I mean, like, what's the worst that can happen? That's all I say. Like, will it hurt anything? I don't think it'll hurt anything, but it
When
could
you
like
believe in yourself, when you
light.
believe in yourself, it's a whole lot easier. And honestly, seeing that vision is enough to light the fire under most people. When they see more clearly what's really in the back of their brain, they're like, oh, shoot, that's worth fighting for. I like it. It looks
Yeah.
good. It feels good. All right, let's hop off. But thank you for coming. Thanks for sharing. Make sure you guys follow Dr. Lauren. Of course, it's in the show notes, but I just want to make sure we see you on Dr. Lauren at Dr. Lauren Powell on IG. And CQ, C is in cat, Q is in queen, cooking queen with Dr. Lauren. So she's amazing, and I think you should work with her if you're thinking about doing some healthy living, cooking, and frankly, just having that community around you is one of the messages that I want people to hear. Isolation is not the way to get it done, and it's a lot more efficient when you're doing it with other motivated, strong, capable people who have tips, tricks, and shortcuts for you half the time.
That's right.
Amen. Talk to you soon. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to see our
Yeah.
baby.
Me too.
I know,
Bye.
great. Bye. So